How's it going? We got a special guest here, who is a big Arsenal fan. So is going to probably come on and brag about how Arsenal's doing so far this year. We have a couple Arsenal fans come on every once in a while, but mostly it's Newcastle fans and stuff like that. So see who's watching here today. I know we got the let me pull this up here. Got the World Cup coming up.
Well, before you get to that, our Arsenal's like the third most popular team in the world, believe it or not. I think Manchester United's one. I forget who's two, but like Arsenal's got like the third biggest following in the world according to studies. So
yeah, I think when this like in the 80s, or sorry, the 90s and the 2000s, when the Premier League was starting to get big and it was starting to go out around the world, Manchester United and Arsenal were the two teams. That's why, now Liverpool is starting to catch up a little bit. They were big in the 70s and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of people started following Arsenal back then, and they just sort of stuck with it. And I guess
a lot of Arsenal fans in like Africa has a lot of Arsenal fans. I know China has because they went on those tours a couple times.
Okay.
And they went to the Southeast Asia a couple times for those tours, and then they did some in Africa, and they have a lot of fans. I know they have a lot of fans in Africa.
Well, locally, don't they have a big following in Philadelphia? They get together every.
Yeah, they go down to that Fido or one of my friend Amy, she's a big fan, so she follows them.
Yeah.
She's a Union fan too, so
yeah. A lot of excitement this year, I mean, they're playing
finally, right?
Yeah, I was talking to you last week a little bit about who they might bring in, to bolster the squad a little bit.
They haven't really done that lately. They haven't really had a need. They've been selling some players in the winter and stuff like that. But now that you got to probably, January, you got 3 games there before the window opens. Just the 26th, the 29th, and basically January 1st or 2nd. And then, you got the FA Cup, but you got, I think you guys got a chance to win a title. You got to probably bring in some, I don't know what positions they need, but
I think they want to add some depth to the midfield. See what helps them is they're so young that their payroll is not that high. Most of these guys don't have big contracts yet, so it's not like back a while ago, when they had Robin van Persie and Cesc Fabregas. I mean, these were high paid players. I think their payroll isn't anything like that right now. So we'll see.
It's crazy. I know you started looking at some of these futures. Every time I look now, Brazil keeps dropping. Now they're plus 380. They were plus, a week ago they were plus 420, plus 450 in some books. Now it's plus 380. And basically France is double the price at plus 750. Now France lost in Kunku, but they're so deep. Now I keep hearing from some of these people, in the know, they think Brazil is overrated. But I just, when you look through this Brazil, I mean, they have the best goalkeeper. They have the two, Ederson and Allison, probably 2 of the 3 best goalkeepers in the world. They got good defense. They got, everybody. I mean, their attack. I mean, they could probably play like 6 attackers.
Right.
Like I don't know, like. They were saying they're going to flop. And I'm like, I don't understand how they're going to flop. They're just, they can outscore anyone at this tournament. I just, got the numbers up here on the screen, Brazil, Argentina, France, Spain, England. Spain is now ahead of England in the odds, which is interesting because Spain is very young and they don't have a striker. Germany there. But there's really nobody off. Portugal's down to plus 1,800. They're dropping like crazy, probably because Cristiano Ronaldo's out opening his mouth again.
Yeah.
There's nobody like these teams can't win. You know, Denmark can't win. Uruguay can't win. It's only going to be one of these teams. But you know, I know you started looking at that today. Have you tried to figure out where you're going to put your money here?
Well, you know, I'm definitely going to put something on Brazil and something on France. You know, I'm kind of going back and forth on some of the other stuff. You know, what does that? You know, I guess it's been broken, but in past World Cups, whenever it was in Europe, a European team usually won, and
Yep.
whenever it was in the Western Hemisphere, you know, a South American team would win, and so we're not in either this year. So I don't know what that
Asia, when it was in Asia, Brazil beat Germany in the final. That was Ronaldo, because Ronaldo, supposedly in 1998, Ronaldo was playing like the original Ronaldo. Right. They said he was playing video games and was having seizures. So like before the game, he had like a seizure or something, and people couldn't understand what the hell was going on. And they said somebody said it was from video games. I read one of the players in a recent book. So like he wasn't at full strength. And France was at home though. They probably were going to win anyway.
Right.
Then he tore up his knee and he came back in 2002. He was unstoppable in that final. But in Brazil won in U.S. Yeah, you usually in 2006 in Germany it was France. It was France and Italy. 2010 was Spain and Netherlands. That was in South Africa. 2014 was Germany and Argentina in Brazil, but Germany won. And then that was the one that broke it. And then
that's the one that broke it. Yeah.
The 2018 France. It's just, I mean, it looks like it's going to set up Brazil, Argentina in one semifinal, and either France and England, and Spain, Germany, Netherlands, and Spain, Germany, Portugal in the other semifinals. So, we might have one South American team and one European team here, but on a whole, the European teams are much stronger. But the odds are weird. I don't know how good the Argentina team is. I know like defensively they're pretty good. Hey, Foxy, yeah, Foxy. Who was your guy the other day, man? I have no idea. That guy was like ripping you. Some guy came on. His name was Joe Mama. So Foxy is a Newcastle fan. Foxy, this is Rick. I don't know if you've seen him on the show before. Rick is a big Arsenal fan, so he's very happy this year. Finally, Foxy's very happy because Newcastle finally has some money. But some guy was on the other day, Joe Mama. He said he's from Antarctica, and he was like busting everybody's balls.
I missed that.
But it's like, so Foxy lives in South America. Argentina has some strong, defenders. Obviously, Lisandro Martinez and stuff. But I don't understand why Brazil is like that much more. I don't think Brazil should be, half the price of France. I think these lines are getting a little bit skewed here, and I think you can make some money on the if someone other than Brazil wins, you're going to make a lot of money on these futures.
Correct. Yeah, that's why. I'm thinking of putting small amounts on several teams because, you don't have to put very much down to get a potential nice payoff. Just sort of do the field a little bit.
The other thing too is if you do top four here, like I see a path. If Germany wins their group over Spain, like I think Germany could get to a semifinal, and they're plus 175 to finish top four, which is pretty good odds.
Right.
Portugal plus 250 to get to a semifinal. I mean, even Brazil is plus 100 to get to a semifinal, and you know they're going to play. Their first game is going to be against. They play winner of. They play GH. They play second place in Group H, which should be Uruguay. It's either going to be Uruguay or Portugal. So you know, I guess it's a decent game. Well, you know, I don't no idea who that was, but I couldn't argue with someone from Antarctica. That would be a real low point in life. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this. I saw an article where the FIFA president said putting it in this country was probably a mistake. I mean, are the fans going to be there from around the world? I mean, what's the deal?
I think, you know, there's been some videos this week, and it's a lot of people like the fans are like migrant workers from India. So they were talking about like, who's your favorite player? David Becker. And like Wayne Raza or something like this. And it's just like, you know, they're cheering. You know, I think the stands will be filled because what they did in South Africa, which was crazy. Like the one I could have gone to South Africa. You know, I was just worried about the tickets, but then when you got there, the tickets were everywhere because like nobody went. So like just giving the tickets to people, like you could just walk into the stadium, like here's a ticket, just go in. So like they're gonna fill the stadiums with like migrant workers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not seeing like 10,000 people, 20,000 people from France showing up at one of the games.
I think there's a lot of stuff. I know there's a lot of people from Germany boycotting it. I mean, the stadiums. I mean, we did a video of the stadiums earlier on the show. Terrible that Qatar denied paying people to support nations. It's so obvious. Yeah, I mean, you know, they if you go on Twitter and look and see, it's embarrassing. But like,
I don't know how that
expensive. It's expensive there. You know, the crazy thing too is, I mean, if you get there, like all the stadiums are within like a 15-minute drive. Like the hub is here. Or it's really not even a drive. It's the train. I mean, you could take, if you're staying in Doha, you know, you could take the train to every stadium. There's the 3 different tram lines that go everywhere. So it's like, I mean, everything. And then when the game's over, you go back to the town and the town's open like 24 hours. So you can't drink. Like there's no, you know, it's a Muslim nation, so you can't like party or do anything. But,
but well, like, I guess nobody from England will be there then.
He's arresting them on the spot, man. You get caught with drugs there, man. You go to jail for 20 years. But you know, the stadiums are so cool. Like I saw the pic, the one looks like a Bedouin tent. The other one's made out of like 974 shipping containers. Like they're really, really cool stadiums, but it just sucks. Like, you know, it's there, and you know, the next one is, you know, going to be here. And it's going to be, you know, and the MetLife and, you know, the Link is having games, and, you know, it's going to be completely the opposite. You know, it's going to be people from all over the world coming in here because everybody's going to want to come to America. So.
Is there a host city for that? Or just America?
Just America. Well, and Canada's hosting a couple games and Mexico's hosting games. So, but the final will be in New Jersey at the MetLife. Nice. But it's going to be all over. Like last in the Euros was, where it was kind of all over the place. So
well, that's what I was getting at. I said, like when it's in America, you know, Mexico is going to have a huge amount of fans at the game. So, but in this place, you know, I don't see like any real home field advantage in terms of fans, right? I mean,
exactly. Yeah, he said. Foxy has a friend who lives in Qatar. He bought a couple tickets at $250 each, but the cheapest ticket is £12. Yeah.
Right.
You can drink alcohol in the fan parks, but a pint is around $15. So, you know.
I think it's got to be better than that South Africa thing with all those air horns, and you couldn't. You couldn't even hear the crowd. It was like,
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. I think it'll be. It's just weird, like all the like there's so much stuff around it today. Like that German reporter that got caught. Like it just like they just desperately need it to be Sunday and be the games.
Right.
So like the people actually start playing and start like doing stuff so they can take the the stuff off all the stuff off the field and just start getting some games in. And then it's that game Sunday will be interesting. Qatar and Ecuador, it should be a decent game. And then Monday, obviously, USA plays and England plays Iran, which could be an interesting game. And Senegal plays Netherlands, which could be an interesting game. So like then right away it starts to go to the games. So
yeah,
we got to get to the games. It's like getting to the point.
Do you have like one real long shot in mind? Somebody could just come from out of nowhere
in this tournament?
Yeah.
The one team I think could come from somewhere and finish like they could make a run to the quarterfinals and like possibly the semifinals is Serbia. Like I just think Serbia would be the team for me that maybe is a little bit of a dark horse, because when you look at the schedule, if they finish second in the group and Uruguay beats Portugal somehow, I think they could beat Uruguay. They got some goals. Here's the Serbia squad. The midfield is Milinkovic, Savic, big time, always linked with people. They have some midfielders. The forwards are Mitrovic, Velovic, Durcic, Jovic. I mean, they have players that are pretty good. Mitrovic could score 5 goals in 3 games and just fire this team to win here. And I just think if the way that it sets up, like they could be like this year's Croatia. I don't know that they get to a final. They could, but I think a lot of stuff would have to happen to do that. But other than that, it's really tough to see. One team I think that could get out of the group is Morocco. I think Morocco. I think when you look at these games, the first round games, I like Senegal a little bit. I like Ecuador, being biased, but Morocco and Denmark could be interesting. Denmark beat France twice recently. Yeah, Foxy. Morocco is going to play in the first game. I think Tunisia could give Denmark a little bit of an issue in that first game. Morocco's playing Croatia in that first game. This line is down to plus 325 for Morocco. This Croatia team is old compared to what they were. So, if Croatia if Morocco wins that game, all of a sudden they're ahead of Croatia head to head. So they would just have to beat Canada and they're through. And then you see, if they get to the knockout stage, they'd have to play either Spain or Germany, which they're probably not going to beat. But when you look at the team stuff for Morocco, I mean, they're not even supposed to get out of the group. So if you bet them to get eliminated in around the 16, that's plus 350. So if you think they can get out of the group, you can get plus 350 odds on them. It's a little bit like this minus 500 here to get eliminated in the group stage. I think that's pretty high because everyone just thinks Croatia, because they went to the final last year, is going to be the same team. But, I mean, they're 4 years older. And these the couple North African teams, Tunisia, Morocco, I think they're going to be much better than people think here. So that would be one where I think you could kind of make some money and be a little bit surprising. But when you look at like the winner, I think comes from. I don't think you can go any further than Germany. I don't even know if Germany can win because they don't have a striker. But Netherlands could be a dark horse. Portugal could be a dark horse. But I think the winner comes from Brazil, France.
What's up with Belgium?
I just think they're old.
Okay.
The problem with Belgium is, I mean, where's their group?
I mean, they got some players.
Yeah, they have some. Courtois could help. De Bruyne, Tielemans, Witzel, Dendoncker, Cresco. Their attackers are, Hazard, Lukaku. Well, who like their center backs are Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld. They got sold from Tottenham because they're like 30, 39 years old. Thomas Munier, who's old, Castagna, like that guy. Wow, faces young. He played for Leicester, I think. So their defense, I mean, they better score 5 goals a game.
Right.
They're not beating anybody.
Yeah.
But, and their attack is like it's just weird. Their Croatia found it really difficult versus Saudi Arabia today. Yeah, I know. I think that's a big time. I think I'm gonna go Morocco for the win there, and then that game or Morocco, Morocco double chance win and draw. I think that could be a winning bet. This group just other than that, like Canada stinks.
Yeah.
Like, no way they're not doing anything. They have Alphonso Davies listed as a forward. He's a left back for Bayern Munich. He plays forward for Canada. He's a left back.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. Croatia still has, Modric and stuff, but this team is old.
Well, he's got to be in his late 30s, isn't he?
Yeah. He was like 32, 33 when he won the Ballon d'Or from 2018. That was 4.5 years ago. So
right.
Yeah. I mean, he's still good, but like not.
Those Cinderella stories usually don't happen twice in a row for the same team.
Yeah, it's really hard. That's the one. It's hard to win 2 in a row. That's why I'm a little bit wary of France. But I just think there's so much. They're so talented, and then their front line is going to be Benzema, Mbappe, and Ousmane Dembele, or and then Giroud's going to come off the bench, or Giroud might play in place. I mean, that's just crazy. And they, their midfield is young, but still, I mean, all they got to do is pass the ball to those guys. It ain't hard. Spain is good, but they're a little bit young. The team that, Foxy could probably, if Modric is 37, this England team is dangerous. I mean, they have a good squad. I mean, when you look at it, Harry Kane, who's going to play in goal? That bothers me a little bit. Their goal, they're
not real strong there.
Yeah, I mean, Ramsdale doesn't really get a shot. He's probably been better than Pickford, but what's his name? Southgate likes Pickford. Their defense right now is going to be their center backs right now are going to be Harry Maguire.
Yeah, see, I can't.
Ron Stones and Eric Dyer with Trippier on the right and Luke Shaw on the left. So they're going to play like a 3-5-2 with the, thing. And their midfield right now is Declan Rice. Phillips hasn't played in 6 months. Jude Bellingham's good. But, who's playing with Harry Kane up top? You got Saka, Sterling, Rashford, Madison. And they have talent, but I just, they bottle it all the time. And I don't think he's a good coach. So he'll find a way to bottle it.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course the thing with France is sometimes their biggest enemy is themselves. So
yeah, that happens every couple of tournaments here. That they won they were bad and they won the World Cup. They were bad in the Euros. They won the Nations League in 2021, and they were terrible in the Nations League qualifiers here. So maybe it's going to be one where they're it's every other tournament for them. So
well, remember that one World Cup where they were all fighting with each other?
2010, yeah. There was like a fucking mutiny. I know.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to curse on here, but I just did. So sorry if there's any kids. Well, it's after 9:30, so we're good. Yeah, so we just kind of wanted to come on tonight and talk a little bit about some of this stuff, but we're gonna be back tomorrow with some more plays. I think maybe some plays on that football game and stuff. You have any plays on the football game tomorrow?
No, I haven't really looked at that.
You know who's playing? Oh, Tennessee and Green Bay, and then I think they just announced today that Tennessee has like 5 starters out, something like this. So
yeah, and Green Bay's coming off that big win, so they may be getting a little momentum going, and they'll be at home. They'll be at home, you know. And the Green Bay defense isn't terrible. Just Aaron Rodgers hasn't been that good, so yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I try to stay away from the NFL. I'm no good at the NFL.
Yeah, I've been bad at these NCAA football games. This game right here, it's at halftime. Western Michigan and Central Michigan. It's on ESPNU right now. If you get a chance, the over/under is 35. They're playing in an abs. There's about 10 inches of snow on the ground, and they can't. The running backs just running and sliding and everything. So I guess there's all this snow up here in all these games. So,
what's the score there?
7-7.
Because Central Michigan was like a 17-point favorite.
I know. Yeah, there's about a foot of snow on the ground, and the kid from what I actually like Western Michigan because the Western Michigan running back right now has about 160 yards rushing. Like he's the only one that can gain any footing on the ground. He said so. You know,
I'm gonna go check this out.
It's at halftime now. I'm gonna jump on there and maybe kind of jump on there in that game. It's probably gonna go under though. But yeah, so yeah, we'll be back tomorrow and we'll talk some more stuff. But we just wanted to jump on here real quick and talk a little bit.
Well, go Arsenal! You know that's what the whole world's talking about. So
I heard the Beckham guy is trying to sue Nike.
Oh really?
Yeah. Odell, probably Odell Beckham. Yeah, he's a mess, man.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy, it's crazy. But all right, so we'll be back, and thanks for watching.
Okay.